The mockery of Earth. Captain Alina Chen stood rigid in the center of the Grand Council chamber, her jaw clenched as waves of alien laughter echoed around her. The massive hall of the Galactic Confederation gleamed with strange lights that reflected off the various exoskeletons, scales, and membranes of the assembled representatives. 200 species from across the galaxy had gathered for this session, and all of them were laughing at the human delegation. Silence, called High Counselor Vorax, a towering being whose crystalline skin refracted light in dazzling patterns. The chamber quieted, though many delegates continued to make their species equivalent of amused snickering. The human petitioners may continue. Chen stepped forward, swallowing her pride. As I was saying, Earth thanks the Confederation for considering our application for full membership. Humanity offers new perspectives on technology, art, and perspectives, interrupted Ambassador Vorn of the Keldari Dominion. His massive frame shook with what humans had learned was laughter, 6 eyes blinking in sequence. They still use neurological tissue for computation. Their fastest ships barely reach light speed. The chamber erupted again. Chen felt her face burn but maintained the composure that 15 years in Earth's Space Command had instilled in her. Behind her, Science Director Rivera whispered, "Let them laugh. It serves our purpose." Chen gave an almost imperceptible nod. She understood the strategy. What the Confederation didn't know wouldn't hurt them, at least not yet. High Counselor Vorax raised a crystalline appendage. The Confederation accepts Earth's petition for probationary membership. Their voice resonated through the chamber. However, the Council recommends that humans focus on subsidiary roles appropriate to your development level. Leave the complex matters to more evolved minds. Chen wanted to respond, but Rivera's light touch on her arm stopped her. "Thank you, High Counselor," Chen said instead, bowing slightly. Earth is grateful for this opportunity. As they left the chamber, other species turned away or made dismissive gestures. Some didn't bother hiding their contempt. "They see us as barely sentient pets," Chen muttered once they were alone in their quarters. Rivera's thin smile held secrets. "Good. Underestimation is humanity's greatest advantage." Over the next 3 months, Earth officially joined the Confederation as a probationary member. Humans were allocated the smallest territories, the worst trade routes, and the least desirable positions. Chen filed formal protests, but they were systematically ignored or dismissed with patronizing explanations about the natural order of galactic civilization. Then the disaster struck. The first human colony on Proxima Centauri went silent. 5,000 people vanished without warning. Their distress signal lasted only 8 seconds before cutting off abruptly. Chen immediately requested emergency assistance from the Confederation. After 3 days of bureaucratic delays, they sent a single scout ship. No signs of hostile action, the Ektari captain reported dismissively. Most likely a human error, perhaps environmental systems failure or internal conflict. Chen knew better. The colony had been thriving under experienced leadership. Something had taken them. When she demanded a more thorough investigation, Ambassador Vorn laughed openly during the council meeting. "Unfortunate, but expected," he said. "Primitive species often struggle with basic colonization. The resources would be better allocated elsewhere." 2 weeks later, a second colony vanished, this one with 10,000 settlers. Chen called an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership. Their faces were grim on the screens surrounding her. "The Confederation has refused additional help," she reported. "They've suggested we focus on Earth rather than expansion." "They're using us as bait," General Santos said, her dark eyes narrowing. "Something is out there, and they wanted it to hit us first." Rivera leaned forward. "Captain Chen, I request permission to brief you on Project Phoenix. We've made significant breakthroughs." "Explain," Chen said. 15 years ago, we discovered a dimensional anomaly in the Marianas Trench. It led to the development of technology that allows movement through higher spatial dimensions, beyond the standard 3 dimensions of normal space. We can essentially phase objects, including ships, into dimensions beyond normal perception. Chen thought of the missing colonies, of the dismissive alien laughter, of humanity's vulnerable position. "Proceed," she ordered. "Full priority." As the meeting ended, Chen looked out her viewport at the distant stars. Somewhere out there, an enemy was moving. The Confederation knew what it was but had decided humans were expendable. "They think we're weak," she said quietly. "They'll learn differently." She didn't know then how soon that lesson would come, or how completely it would change humanity's place in the cosmos. 3 kilometers beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a secret base hummed with activity. Hidden from satellites and deep space scans, Project Phoenix had operated here since before most of its workers were born. Rivera walked through the main lab, nodding to scientists who stepped aside respectfully. Her salt and pepper hair was pulled back tightly, showing the lines of worry that had deepened since the colony attacks. She entered the central chamber where Dr. Kim hunched over a workstation. Holographic equations floated in the air, spinning and connecting in patterns few humans could comprehend. "Progress?" Rivera asked. Kim looked up, his eyes red from lack of sleep. "See for yourself." He expanded the hologram with a gesture. The equations rearranged themselves, forming a stable pattern that pulsed with soft blue light. "The framework holds," Kim said, pointing to key points in the mathematical model. "Dimensional folding is stable through the 7th dimension. We've solved the quantum instability problem." Rivera studied the equations. Her background wasn't in theoretical physics, but she had learned enough over the years to understand the significance. "You're certain this isn't another simulation?" "This is real data. Real data from the test chamber. The object actually vanished from our dimension and reappeared exactly where and when we predicted." Rivera allowed herself a small smile. "How soon can we test the full system?" "The Phoenix is ready," Kim said. "We just needed these final calculations." They walked together through a massive airlock into a cavernous space carved from the ocean floor. Inside floated a vessel unlike anything humans had officially built. The Phoenix was sleek and black, its surface absorbing light rather than reflecting it. No visible seams or connections marred its smooth exterior. It resembled a predator from Earth's deepest oceans, deadly, efficient, and utterly alien. Captain Chen stood at its base, examining the entry hatch. She turned as Rivera and Kim approached, her face serious but eyes bright with determination. "Is it time?" she asked. Rivera nodded. "The final calculations confirm what we hoped. The Phoenix can move through higher dimensions." Chen had been chosen from thousands of candidates. She had the right combination of piloting skills, scientific understanding, and psychological stability needed for the mission. What they would ask her to do had never been attempted before. "General Santos is on her way," Rivera said. "She wants to witness the final systems check." As if summoned by her name, General Santos entered with her security team. The soldiers remained by the door as Santos crossed to join them. "Show me," she said simply. Kim activated his tablet, and a holographic display appeared above it. "This is what the Confederation thinks we know about physics," he explained, showing a simple 3-dimensional model. "And this is what we actually discovered 20 years ago." The model expanded, sprouting new dimensions that folded in on themselves in impossible ways. 20 years of secret research since we discovered the dimensional anomaly, Rivera added. The Confederation never suspected. "They believe we're centuries behind," Santos replied, satisfaction evident in her voice. "Our one advantage." Chen circled the Phoenix, her hand running along its smooth surface. "How does it work, in simple terms?" Kim switched on the main display, showing the engine core, a sphere of shifting patterns contained within overlapping fields. "Conventional space has 3 dimensions we can move through. Up, down, left, right, forward, backward," Kim explained. "But mathematics proves at least 11 dimensions exist. We normally can't access them. The Phoenix changes that." "Yes," Chen prompted. "We've built a ship that can move sideways through dimensions 4 through 7. Kim continued. The Phoenix can essentially phase through solid matter by stepping into a higher dimension and back out again. Santos frowned slightly. And our enemies, the ones taking our colonies. Kim smiled, a rare expression on his normally serious face. They can only perceive 3 dimensions. To them, will be ghosts. Santos studied the Phoenix with new appreciation. How soon can it be deployed? Final systems checked today, Kim said. Live test tomorrow. Combat ready in 3 days if all goes well. Not a moment too soon, Santos replied. We've lost contact with a 3rd colony. Whatever is hunting us is getting bolder. Chen looked up at the vessel that would soon carry her beyond normal space. The Phoenix will be ready, she said quietly. And so will I. As they prepared the final tests, none of them could know that they were about to change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The Phoenix would soon prove that humans weren't as primitive as the Confederation believed. They were pioneers of a science no other species had imagined possible. The emergency alarm blared through Earth Command Headquarters. General Santos rushed into the control room, where screens showed a chaotic scene. A transmission from the Europa colony played on the main display, breaking up every few seconds. Repeat, this is not a drill. A man's voice called through static. His face appeared briefly, bloodied and terrified. Not pirates, something else. They come from nowhere. The transmission cut to black. Silence fell over the control room. Santos turned to the gathered officers. How many people on Europa colony? 30,000, sir, someone replied. Santos' jaw tightened. This was the 4th attack, but the first where they had received any transmission. Get me everything from that signal. Every frame, every sound. Hours later, Santos met with Earth's Defense Council in a secure underground room. Intelligence Officer Patul stood before them, her uniform perfectly pressed despite having worked through the night. We've enhanced the Europa colony transmission, she said, tapping her tablet. The screen behind her showed images that made several council members gasp. Strange ships appeared in the colony footage. Dark vessels with shifting geometries that seemed to fold in on themselves. More importantly, Patul continued, we intercepted Confederation communications about the attacks. She played a recording of aliens speaking, translated into English by the computer. Another human colony gone. The buffer strategy works as planned. The Vorax remain focused on their prey. The Confederation knows. Santos asked, anger rising in her voice. Patel nodded. Based on their communications, they've been fighting these Vorax for centuries, using our colonies as buffers while pretending to help us. Rivera, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. They gave us the worst territories on purpose, the ones closest to Vorax space. They're sacrificing our people. The defense minister slammed his fist on the table. There's more, Patel said. We've gathered enough data to identify the Vorax. They appear to be ancient predators that hunt through dimensional shortcuts. They can partially phase between normal space and the 4th dimension, which is why they seem to appear from nowhere. Santos thought of the Phoenix, ready for its first real mission. Show me everything you have on their capabilities. The meeting continued for hours as they reviewed all available data. Captain Chen joined them, studying the Vorax movements with particular attention. I see a pattern, she said eventually. Look at how they attack. She pointed to the simulation showing Vorax ships appearing near human settlements. They always attack from specific angles, always using the same dimensional approach. Chen manipulated the display, adding new dimensional overlays. The Vorax cannot perceive 7th dimensional space. They hunt through the 4th and 5th dimensions. That's their territory. But they're blind to dimensions 6 and 7. Santos understood immediately, which means the Phoenix can strike without being detected. Exactly, Chen said. They'll never see us coming. Rivera looked troubled. We need more time to prepare. The Phoenix has only completed 2 test flights. Time is something we don't have, Santos replied. The Confederation has been using us as sacrificial pawns. We need to show both them and the Vorax the humans aren't easy prey. As they discussed strategy, a young officer burst into the room. General. Urgent from Orbital Command. Santos took the offered tablet and read the message. Her face darkened. Earth's orbital defenses have detected a massive incoming fleet, not Confederation ships. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Vorax are coming here. To Earth. Rivera asked. Arrival estimated in 6 hours. Santos confirmed, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. They've grown bold after easy victories at our colonies. The Confederation? Someone asked. They're aware but offering limited assistance due to resource constraints. Santos read from the message, her tone bitter. We're on our own. Chen stood up, determination clear on her face. The Phoenix is ready. Let me take it out. Santos looked at the captain, seeing the confidence behind her eyes. One experimental ship against a fleet. One ship they can't see or detect, Chen corrected. One ship that can move through dimensions they can't access. Rivera checked her tablet. The dimensional drive is stable. Weapon systems are online, but we've never tested them in actual combat. There's no choice, Santos said after a moment. Captain Chen, prepare the Phoenix for immediate launch. Your mission is to assess the Vorax fleet capabilities and disrupt their approach if possible. As Chen left to prepare, Santos turned to the others. Activate all planetary defenses, evacuate coastal cities, and send one last message to the Confederation. Tell them Earth is about to show them what humans can do. The room emptied quickly as everyone rushed to their stations. Earth prepared for its first interstellar battle, not knowing that their secret dimensional technology was about to change the course of galactic history, turning the tide. The Vorax Armada appeared in Earth's skies like a storm of twisted metal and shadow. Thousands of their strange ships hung over cities and oceans, their hulls shifting and folding in ways that hurt human eyes to watch. Earth's defense satellites fired immediately, but energy beams and missiles seemed to pass through the Vorax vessels or disappear into sudden voids. In the command center beneath the Atlantic, General Santos watched the battle displays with a grim expression. Conventional weapons barely slow their advance, she reported to the Global Defense Council. They're absorbing or redirecting our attacks through dimensional shifts. Reports flooded in from around the world. The Vorax had begun landing forces in remote areas. Strange beings moved in unnatural ways, taking human captives for unknown purposes. Launch all remaining ships, Santos ordered. Keep them occupied until the Phoenix is in position. Deep in the underwater hangar, Captain Chen made final preparations. The Phoenix floated in its launch cradle, systems humming with power. Beside her stood her small, carefully selected crew. Navigator Torres, Weapons Officer Liu, and Engineer Singh. This is not a test flight, Chen told them as they strapped into their stations. Everything we've worked for comes down to the next few hours. They nodded, faces serious but determined. All had trained for years in simulation, but nothing could truly prepare them for what they were about to attempt. Launch sequence initiated, Singh reported, her fingers dancing across controls. The hangar's massive doors slid open, revealing the dark ocean above. The Phoenix rose silently, water streaming from its smooth black hull. Unlike conventional spacecraft, it needed no rockets to reach orbit. The dimensional drive allowed it to partially negate gravity by shifting slightly out of normal space. As they ascended through the ocean and into the sky, they caught their first real glimpse of the invasion. The Vorax ships blocked out the sun, casting shadows across continents. Earth's defensive fleet, small compared to the invaders, fought bravely but ineffectively. Phoenix to command. We have visual on the enemy, Chen reported. Proceeding with Phase 1. Acknowledged, Phoenix, Santos' voice came through. All Earth forces are aware of your mission. Good hunting. Chen turned to Navigator Torres. Take us in. Full dimensional shift once we reach their formation. Torres nodded, her face illuminated by the holographic controls. Course plotted through their center mass. Dimensional drive at full power. The Phoenix accelerated, streaking toward the heart of the Vorax armada. Enemy sensors detected them, and several ships turned to intercept. "They see us," Liu warned. "Not for long," Chen replied. "Execute dimensional shift now." Torres pressed her palm against the activation panel. "Shifting to 7th dimensional plane," she announced, voice steady despite the historical significance of the moment. The ship twisted, not vanishing, but sliding sideways into reality in a way the crew's human eyes struggled to process. The cockpit seemed to stretch and compress simultaneously. For a moment, each crew member felt like they existed in multiple places at once. Then it stabilized. Outside the viewports, the world looked different. The Vorax ships were still visible, but now appeared translucent, like ghosts. Strange colors that had no names in human language flickered around them. "Shift complete," Torres reported. "We are now operating primarily in the 7th dimension." "Status of Vorax sensors?" Chen asked. Liu checked his readings. "No reaction. They've lost us completely. Their technology only monitors dimensions 3 through 5. The Phoenix moved freely through the Vorax formation. To any observer in normal space, the ship would appear to have vanished. In reality, it was passing directly through what appeared to be solid Vorax vessels, occupying the same physical space but in a different dimension. "Identify their command ship," Chen ordered. After a few moments of scanning, Liu pointed to a massive vessel at the center of the formation. "That one. It's coordinating all dimensional shifts for their fleet." "Take us behind it," Chen said. "Prepare dimensional disruptors." Torres guided the Phoenix into position. The experimental weapons had never been used in actual combat before. Position confirmed. Chen transmitted to Earth Command. "Deploying dimensional disruptors." "Shifting back to normal space," Torres announced. The Phoenix partially rematerialized directly behind the Vorax command vessel, appearing as if from nowhere. Before the enemy could react, Liu fired the disruptors. Waves of energy pulsed outward, not in normal space, but across dimensional planes. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Vorax command ship began to contort, its hull folding in impossible angles as 7th dimensional energy tore through systems designed to operate in lower dimensions. "It's working," Singh shouted, watching her monitors. "Their dimensional shielding is collapsing." Across Earth's skies, the effects spread. Smaller Vorax vessels connected to the command ship began to twist and fail, their carefully controlled dimensional abilities disrupted. Earth's conventional fleet, which had been hastily equipped with partial dimensional tech based on the Phoenix's research, seized the advantage. Their weapons, now calibrated to affect the Vorax's dimensional vulnerabilities, found their targets. All Earth forces pressed the attack. General Santos's voice came through every communication channel. "The enemy is vulnerable." The Vorax formation, once so terrifying and organized, shattered into chaos. Their advantage lost, they found themselves facing a humanity that had mastered dimensions they couldn't perceive. "Target their secondary command vessels," Chen ordered. The Phoenix shifted dimensions once more, disappearing from normal sight as it moved to continue its hunt. For the next 2 hours, the battle raged across Earth's orbit and atmosphere. The Phoenix struck relentlessly, appearing and disappearing like a ghost, disrupting Vorax dimensional control wherever it attacked. Earth's fleet, following in the Phoenix's wake, destroyed the disoriented enemy vessels. In the command center, Santos watched the tactical display with growing hope as more and more Vorax signatures winked out. "They're retreating," someone announced. Indeed, the remaining Vorax vessels were pulling back, attempting to regroup beyond the moon's orbit. Chen's voice came through, calm despite the chaos around her. "Permission to pursue and eliminate the remaining command structure." Santos considered for only a moment. "Granted. End this." The Phoenix accelerated after the fleeing Vorax ships, shifting between dimensions with an agility that made it appear to teleport across vast distances. Each time it appeared, more enemy vessels were left crippled or destroyed. Finally, Chen targeted the last major Vorax command ship. This time, they didn't just disrupt its dimensional abilities. They planted explosive charges directly inside its core by phasing through its shields and hull. The explosion, when it came, wasn't just in normal space. It rippled across multiple dimensions, creating a distortion visible even to the naked eye from Earth. A strange, twisting flare that seemed to bend reality itself. "Command, this is Phoenix," Chen reported. "The Vorax fleet has been neutralized. Remaining vessels are in full retreat, no longer coordinated." Cheers erupted in command centers across Earth. Humanity had survived its first interstellar war. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation had never been so quiet. 2 weeks after the Vorax retreat from Earth, an emergency summit had been called. Species from across the galaxy gathered, their attention fixed on the human delegation entering the hall. General Santos led the group, walking with straight shoulders and steady steps. Behind her came Director Rivera, Captain Chen, and the crew of the Phoenix. The humans wore simple blue uniforms without decoration. Yet every alien eye followed them with new respect. Ambassador Vorn of the Keldari waited at the speaking platform. His massive body seemed smaller somehow, his 6 eyes not meeting the humans' gaze as they approach. "The Confederation Council recognizes Earth's representatives," announced the High Counselor Zrelx. Vorn stepped forward. "The Confederation acknowledges humanity's unexpected contribution," he stammered, his translator struggling to convey his discomfort. The defeat of the Vorax Armada was unprecedented. The chamber remained silent. Many delegates remembered how they had laughed at humans just months earlier. "For 5 centuries, the Vorax have raided our territories," Vorn continued. "Our best minds found no defense against their dimensional attacks. Yet humans, in mere decades, developed technology that turned the tide." Santos nodded slightly but said nothing. She had practiced this moment in her mind during the journey to the Confederation capital. The satisfaction was sweeter than she had imagined. "The Confederation formally apologizes for," Vorn paused, searching for words, "for underestimating Earth's potential. We request full details of your dimensional technology." Santos stepped to the platform. Her voice carried clearly through the vast chamber. "Perhaps primitive minds see solutions that evolved ones miss." A murmur passed through the alien delegates. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others made gestures of agreement. "Earth will share our discoveries," Santos continued. "But first, we require full disclosure about the Vorax. No more secrets. No more using human colonies as buffers without our knowledge." The High Counselor inclined its crystalline head. "Agreed. The database will be open to Earth immediately." "Second," Santos said, "humanity will no longer occupy only the frontier territories. We claim equal status and equal protection under Confederation law." "This is highly irregular," began one delegate, but the High Counselor raised a hand for silence. "Earth has earned this right," the Counselor stated. "The terms are accepted." The negotiations continued for hours. By the end, Earth had secured not only protection, but also new territories, research partnerships, and trade agreements. The dimensional technology would be shared selectively with the Confederation. Humanity would no longer serve as cannon fodder. 3 months later, a new ship prepared for launch from Earth's orbital shipyard. The horizon was larger than the Phoenix, built specifically for dimensional exploration rather than combat. Its mission: to venture deeper into the higher dimensions than any being had gone before. On the observation deck, Director Rivera watched Earth grow smaller as the ship moved away from the station. The blue planet shone against the blackness of space, beautiful and now safer than it had been in months. "Strange how quickly things change," said Captain Chen, joining her at the viewport. After the battle, she had been promoted and given command of the horizon. 6 months ago, they laughed at us, Rivera smiled. "They're not laughing now. The Confederation scientists still can't believe we discovered dimensional folding on our own, Chen said. They thought such discoveries had to build on centuries of progress. They don't understand human curiosity, Rivera replied. We see walls as challenges, not boundaries. The ship's engines hummed as they moved beyond the moon's orbit. Soon, they would activate the dimensional drive for their first official exploration mission. What do you think we'll find deeper in the dimensional planes? Asked Shen, watching the stars. Rivera considered the question. Project Phoenix had opened doors that no one, human or alien, fully understood. The higher dimensions contained mysteries that mathematics could only hint at. Something no one has imagined, Rivera finally replied. That's humanity's gift. We imagine the impossible, then make it real. Chen nodded and touched the control panel. Crew to stations. Prepare for dimensional shift. Throughout the ship, humans took their places. Many had come from the colonies that survived the Vorax attacks. Others were scientists who had worked on Project Phoenix for years. All shared the same sense of purpose. Dimensional drive active, reported Navigator Torres from the bridge. The horizon shifted, sliding between the fabric of dimensions. To observers from Earth, the ship appeared to bend in impossible ways before vanishing completely. Inside, the crew watched as reality transformed around them. New colors emerged, physical laws changed, and possibilities expanded. They were the first explorers of realms beyond conventional space, the pioneers of humanity's greatest journey. Earth had found its place among the stars not by following the path others had laid out, but by discovering roads no one else could see. The species that had been mocked as primitive had revealed the universe's greatest secret, that reality itself was far more vast and strange than anyone had imagined. And humanity was just getting started. In the Confederation archives, a new entry was added to the records of known species. Under humans, where once had been dismissive notes about their primitive technology and limited potential, now appeared a single phrase: approach with respect and caution. They see what others cannot.